Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Close More Sales and Increase Referrals with Marketing Automation. I want to give people a minute or two to log on and then we'll get started. Hello and welcome to today's webinar. All right, let's get started. My name is Stephanie and I'll be your host today. I've been with WebAscender since 2011 and I currently lead our digital marketing department, which focuses on helping businesses to get more website traffic, leads, and sales. As always, you can reach me at stephanie@webascender.com. I'll be taking questions throughout today's webinar, along with some Q&A time at the end. Feel free to ask your questions via Twitter using the hashtag automation101 or via email at im@webascender.com at any time. I'll try to get to questions as they roll in, but any I don't get to immediately, I'll cover during the Q&A time at the end. Before we dig into all the fun stuff, here's an overview of what we'll be talking about today. Today's topics include why email marketing, what is marketing automation, where does marketing automation fit into my digital marketing strategy, how do I start with marketing automation, what's in a marketing automation campaign, and what tools should I consider. To kick things off, let's talk about why email marketing. The reason I think it's important to start out with this is that I frequently hear from prospects and clients things like, isn't email dead? So there's a lot of misconceptions about email marketing. People tend to think email marketing is just spam. No one wants it, nobody reads it, it's a waste of time to do something that no one cares about. People think email marketing is old school. It was cool a few years ago, but it's really past its prime at this point. And people think there are better ways to do digital marketing. Things like search engine optimization, social media, content marketing are far more effective. Why are we spending time on email? I think the important thing to consider here is that all of these are misconceptions. There are lots of reasons why email marketing makes sense. And some of those reasons I have here. So there are 4.3 billion email accounts that exist, and those send 196 billion emails every day. 91% of consumers check their email daily. So, like it or not, your prospects and your customers use email. You should too. Email is by far the most widely adopted channel, and so there's really no reason not to use it. Second, email is a channel that you own, as opposed to things like Google and Facebook, where you have to worry about algorithm changes that wipe out all your work overnight. With email, you own your list. You can segment it how you want to. You can implement your targeting in ways that make sense for you and your business. You don't have to worry about anyone else. And finally, email lets you be highly personal in a way that you can't be with other outlets because you own your email list and how it's curated, how it's used. You can be very targeted with what content you send to what contacts and when you do that. So email marketing is not dead. It's very much the opposite. It has a lot of potential, and that potential can be tapped into using marketing automation, which is what we're talking about today. Now that we're on the same page about email marketing, let's talk about what marketing automation is and how it relates. Marketing automation facilitates the nurturing of marketing qualified leads into sales qualified leads, allowing your sales team to efficiently allocate their time and their resources. So let's break this down for a minute and kind of figure out what that all means. So when you think about a lead coming in from your website, not all visitors are going to be sales ready or ready for sales to pursue them from the first time they become a lead. When we talk about a marketing qualified lead, we're talking about a lead who isn't yet sales ready, but has given you permission to market to them by providing their email address in exchange for something else, like an ebook. In contrast, a sales ready lead is someone who is far enough along in the buying process that it's of value for them and for a salesperson to spend time with that lead. What marketing automation does is allows us to reach out to those marketing qualified leads who aren't yet sales ready and hit them with targeted content designed to move or nurture them from a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead. When that's done correctly, your marketing automation helps to increase the number of leads that become sales qualified leads and helps your sales team to use their time more efficiently and close more sales. So when we look at this definition of marketing automation, there are a couple key roles that it plays in terms of both sales and marketing. The first is personalization. So marketing automation allows businesses to cater to specific attributes and actions of their leads. We'll get more into this when I talk about where to start with marketing automation. Second, marketing automation plays a role in lead qualifying. The ability to know what stage of the buying cycle a lead is in based on the content that they download and the forms that they submit allows us to really harness this. For example, a marketing qualified lead might download an ebook about a problem that you can solve for them, while a sales qualified lead might request pricing information. And so by knowing this, you can qualify leads at different stages of sales and marketing. Marketing automation also allows for scoring of leads. So there are tools that exist that can help you to gauge the interest of your leads as opposed to the cycle, which we talked about in lead qualifying, but gauging interest based on how frequently they are coming back to your website, how they are engaging with your content, your emails, those kinds of things. And finally, marketing automation plays a role in sales and marketing team efficiency. When personalization, lead qualifying, and lead scoring information is available, it makes a big difference in terms of where your sales and marketing teams spend their time. Overall, companies that automate lead management see a 10% or greater increase in revenue within 6 to 9 months. Looking at these roles that marketing automation can play, it's easy to see where that increase comes in. Our next topic is, where does marketing automation fit into my digital marketing strategy? Marketing automation has huge potential, but of course it's only one piece of the puzzle. Before we dig into how to get started with marketing automation, let's look at where it fits in. If you've joined us for previous webinars, this graphic should look familiar. We've used this to explain inbound marketing as an approach to increasing website traffic, generating leads, and nurturing prospects. The first stage of inbound marketing includes search engine optimization, blogging, and content marketing. Also includes search ads and social media, all as ways of attracting strangers who know nothing about your business into your website. Once those strangers become visitors, it's time to convert them into leads, which is the second stage of the graphic here. We do this using calls to action or a clear next step or button that we want a visitor to take, as well as with landing pages and forms for website visitors to submit their contact information in exchange for an ebook, a case study, a quote, something like that, to become a lead. After a form's submitted, the visitor becomes a lead, and we move into the close stage, or the third stage of the inbound marketing method. This is where we nurture contacts from leads to customers using personalized content and emails. Finally, once a lead becomes a customer, they move into the delight stage, or the final stage. This is where we leverage existing customer relationships to bring in new business. This can include asking for testimonials or referrals, as well as cross-selling existing customers on new or related products. Any guesses on where marketing automation fits into this? If you guessed close and delight, you would be right. Marketing automation allows us to nurture leads into customers and make our customers champions who help us attract new strangers to the website, starting the cycle all over again. It's also important to note that no one of these areas functions independent of the others. So if you're doing a good job of driving website traffic and generating leads, if you're not doing a good job of driving website traffic and generating leads, it can be really difficult to have success in the nurturing stage. Also, if you're just attracting and converting, you could really be missing out on other areas of an overall digital marketing strategy. In fact, businesses that use marketing automation to nurture their prospects experience a 451% increase in qualified leads. So maybe by now you're asking, how do I get started with marketing automation? That is our next topic. When starting from scratch with marketing automation, there are 4 key areas to consider. Who is your audience? How will you segment your list? What triggers will be used? What journey do you want to move your buyers through? I'll be going into each of these in more detail, but let's start with determining your audience. If you've joined us for our previous webinars, the idea of buyer personas should sound familiar. A buyer persona is a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer and should be the foundation for any marketing automation efforts. Your buyer persona will help you to uncover things like what questions your buyers have that they might search for in Google, what problems do your buyers have that you can solve for them, how do your buyers move from awareness of having a problem to consideration of solutions for that problem to deciding on a product or to buy or a vendor to work with. This is all important information to have when crafting your content and your workflows for marketing automation. It should really be the driver of that. So at WebAssembler, we like to think of it like this. When you have the right people plus the right information plus the right time, you'll have success with your marketing automation efforts. Once you have your personas figured out and you know who you're targeting, what they care about, it's time to think about how you're going to segment your list. Segmenting your list will allow you to personalize content based on key categories of your leads. This can be company information, such as the size of a company, the type of company, the industry that it's in. This can also be the role and responsibilities of an individual lead. So what is their job title? What department do they belong to? What is their seniority? What is their job function? What do they care about? And the individual's behavior and actions. So what forms have they submitted? How are they engaging with emails that you've sent them in the past? What pages on your website have they viewed? How frequently are they coming back to your website? Segmenting your list will lay a strong foundation for using meaningful triggers as part of your marketing automation strategy, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Triggered email messages get 119% higher click-through rate than business as usual messages. This means personalizing your content based on behavior is far more effective than sending out a newsletter here or a blog update there. A trigger is some type of event that causes something to happen in your workflow. Triggers can be website visits. So a lead comes back to your website, that can trigger an email. Another type of trigger would be a page view. So a lead might view a key page like a pricing page, contact page, request a quote. You can trigger an email based off of that. Form submissions typically trigger a thank you email, but they can also start an entire series of emails over the course of weeks or months to nurture that lead. Attending or registering for an event, such as a webinar, might also be a trigger in your workflow. And then website actions like leaving an item in a shopping cart can be highly effective and personalized way of using triggers in your marketing automation. Other ideas of using triggers in marketing automation might be re-engaging leads who haven't visited your website in 60 days, or welcoming and providing useful tips to new customers. The final key to getting started with marketing automation to ensure success is knowing your buyer journey. A typical buyer will start out with some pain point, a problem, or a question. We call this the awareness stage. They may not know what's causing them pain, but they know they want it fixed. As the buyer does some research, they're able to pinpoint the cause. Now it's time to investigate some solutions. This investigation of solutions is called the consideration stage. And then eventually the buyer will settle on a solution that seems to be the best fit for them. And then they'll evaluate either product or vendor options before finally settling on something. And this is called the decision stage. When putting together content for your automated marketing emails, it's important to know what stage your leads are in based on your segments and your triggers. Once you know that, you can then tailor your content toward that specific stage. Someone in the awareness stage is typically engaged by educational videos or blog posts, slide shares or presentations, free tools, guides, and ebooks. As a lead moves on to the consideration stage, helpful content might be in the form of webinars, case studies, frequently asked questions, white papers about specific products, reviews from third parties. And then when it comes time to decide on a product or vendor, your leads might look for a free trial, an ROI report, what is their return on investment going to be when they work with you, a product demo, a consultation, a proposal, estimate, quote, all of those are going to help them make the final decision to work with you. Tailoring not only your content or the words on the page, but also the type of content that you present can make a huge difference when it comes to effectively moving leads through the buying cycle with your marketing automation efforts. So as a recap, when getting started with marketing automation, begin by determining your audience, segmenting your list, using triggers, and knowing your buyer's journey. All right, so we've covered a lot of information. Hopefully you've learned some things, but maybe you're struggling to put it all together. So let's take a look at a marketing automation campaign in action. For this pretty basic campaign, we're starting with a trigger of an ebook download. You can see the landing page at the right. When a visitor fills out the form to become a lead, the marketing automation workflow will be triggered. Immediately after that form is submitted, a thank you email will be sent to that lead, and that would contain a link to the content that was downloaded, so the executive's guide to website development in this case. And then we've also included a next step for the lead to take. So here it's a blog post for them to read that's related to the ebook, but takes it a step further. Now we take the opportunity to inform and engage the lead that is currently in that automated marketing flow. We want to be helpful, and we want to be educational, and we want to show the prospect that we can solve their problem. A series of emails might be scheduled a week apart with different resources, content, blog posts, tools that are relevant to them to help move them through the buying cycle. Depending on the length of your sales cycle, the number of emails that you send and the frequency of those might vary. So you might need to take some time to test and figure out what works best for you, what works best for your business, your industry. But based on that knowledge, once you've covered the key problems and questions that your persona has in their specific stage of the buyer's journey, you want to give them kind of a nudge or an ask to move them on to the next stage. In this example, we're offering a free consultation, but you could also promote a request a quote form or link to a specific product. There's different options for what that next step would be, but it should be some type of trigger that if this email is successful, the prospect would go to the page, maybe fill out a form, and then they move on to the next stage in that buyer's journey, which triggers your next workflow, starting the process all over again. Our final topic for today covers how to get started with marketing automation in terms of tools and software. So this can be a really big decision for a lot of businesses because there are options that range from $15 to $20 a month all the way up to a couple grand a month. And so knowing what features you need, not only now, but down the road and what your budget allows, there's a lot that goes into that. So I'm not going to go into specifics of each software product out there, but I will try to break down the categories of options to hopefully give you an idea of where to start with your search. So I like to think of marketing automation software in three categories. You have your email marketing software with an automation component. This includes, what may sound familiar, Constant Contact and MailChimp. There are also other ones, but those are the ones that stand out in this category. So these tools aren't designed to do marketing automation, although MailChimp's features are improving pretty rapidly, I would say. But the intention is not to do marketing automation. It's more to do email marketing, but they do have the capabilities to run some basic automated campaigns. These options are relatively inexpensive if you're looking to just dabble, get started, and you don't have too high of hopes for segmenting everything out and doing custom triggers and all of that. This might be an option for you. So these email marketing softwares don't have a tracking code on your website, so basing campaigns around website visits and page views gets really tricky. It can be a lot more work than it would be with some of the other tools that we'll talk about, but it is the most inexpensive option, which is why it tends to be appealing. The next category of marketing automation tools or software, I actually call marketing automation software, but a popular tool in this category is ActiveCampaign. So these tools allow you to build out full workflows and triggers, start and stop campaigns, which is something that you can't really do with MailChimp and Constant Contact. But they are usually used in addition to other third-party tools, not instead of other third-party tools. So you still need your website tracking and reporting, like maybe Google Analytics, or if you use a paid service for that. You still need some type of social media management tool, so you would still use your Hootsuite. Some of these include a CRM, but you might still use your own with it. So it's really not an all-in-one solution. It's just another add-on to your suite of online marketing tools. And then the final category would be your inbound marketing software. So this is your HubSpot, Marketo, Pardot, ClickDimensions, all fall into this category. These tools are much more than just a marketing automation solution. They offer typically full workflows and triggers. Pretty much anything that you could want to base a trigger around, you can do with these tools, but they also typically include website tracking and reporting, the ability to run campaigns on very granular levels. Unlike your marketing automation software, these options typically would replace a lot of other tools and be more of that all-in-one solution. Here's a visual breakdown of what I just talked through. So you can see your Constant Contact or MailChimp, really just email marketing primarily. Your ActiveCampaign, so Constant Contact, typically going to be under $100 a month. If you have a huge database of contacts, you might be a little bit more than that, but kind of double digits there. Your marketing automation software, here I've used ActiveCampaign as the example, offers email marketing and marketing automation, but doesn't really have the all-in-one of the full inbound marketing software options. ActiveCampaign is going to be a couple $100, so triple digits. That would be probably, I think it might start a little under 100, but goes up depending on your level of contacts. And then finally, we have your inbound marketing software, your HubSpot, your Marketo, those tools that are more of the all-in-one marketing solution versus just the email and marketing automation. With that, you're going to pay a lot more, but depending on your goals, that might make sense. So some things that you do want to consider would be your budget, your current needs, and also your long-term goals. Once you pick an option, it can be a lot of work to move to a new platform. So definitely a decision that you want to put some thought into. if you do have questions or want some specific advice based on your situation, you can always reach out and I'd be happy to talk that through with you. And with that, I'd like to open up for questions. So just as a reminder, you can tweet any questions using the hashtag automation101, or you can ask questions via email to im@webascender.com. All right, so first question here. Do any of the marketing automation tools offer free trials? How do you choose the software for your business? So that's kind of related to what we just talked about. I do believe all of the tools that I mentioned offer some type of free trial. I know MailChimp has a free option. I think Constant Contact has a free trial. HubSpot does have a free trial. I imagine with any of those, you would probably want to do a good amount of research before actually signing up for a trial, because to really get a feel for it and be able to use it, you would want to spend some time with it. So it wouldn't really make sense to go and set up a free trial on 4 different platforms and pick from there. You're probably going to want to spend your time on the one that you think would work best. All right, next question. What is the biggest mistake people make when starting out with marketing automation? I think one of the biggest mistakes is just not getting started quickly enough or wanting everything to be perfect before they launch anything. With your marketing automation, it's really building blocks on top of each other. So you might, once you launch a campaign, that campaign's always going to be running. And so then you launch another campaign, and then you have 2 campaigns running simultaneously. So you really need to get the first thing out there and then build on it, as opposed to a lot of times people will say, well, it's not ready to launch yet. Like, I'm only targeting this one persona or this one form. That kind of stuff, don't get too tied down by. Just get started, start collecting some data, start sending out some emails, see how things go, and then you can always improve from there. All right, just looking to see if we have any other questions. Do you have any tips for writing content in nurturing emails? So I think other than what we've talked about, which is know your persona, know where they're at in the buyer journey, know your goal of what you want them to do, and try and move them from point A to point B. More specifically than that, I think short and sweet. Shorter is always better. If you're sending somebody an email, you want to keep it to the point, couple sentences, a link to send them out somewhere. Don't be sending a whole blog post in an email or more information than somebody's going to read. So I would say that's really important, is to keep your emails short. Also, don't underestimate the power of your subject line. So I know you're going to spend time writing your email. You also want to spend maybe just as much time thinking about what that subject line should look like, because if no one opens the email, then what the email says doesn't really matter. All right, I think that might be all the questions that have come in for now. If you do have other questions that come up as you're thinking about things and what we talked about, you can still tweet at the hashtag or email im@webassembler.com, and I'll get back to you with your answers on that. Also, if you missed any part of the webinar today, or you want to go back and rewatch something, we'll be sending out a recorded version this afternoon that you can refer to as well. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out for the webinar today. Thanks for asking your questions. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, and enjoy the rest of your day.